So, this one's gonna be again about the article, and actually, is it the book summary? No, it is actually the article, the article from James Clear on habits and how other people were able to just, get rid of their bad habits and also to build good habits, because most often it's actually the case that we somehow exchange quote unquote habits, which means like, okay, we're having a bad habit and we're exchanging it with a good one. It is not like, okay, I'm gonna destroy this particular habit or I'm gonna just, I don't know, build this particular habit, because there's, I guess as I'm just thinking about it, there has to just always be some sacrifice, at least at my point of view. But more after the intro, as quite every day, I guess. Well, actually, yeah, that's quite every day. And, before I actually forget to mention, this particular episode is also able or available as an audio-only version, which means as a podcast, which means that you can listen to it while you're doing anything or while you're doing something, which means that, for example, you're going on a run, you can still listen to this particular episode, which saves quite a lot of time, and which lets you be able to save a lot of time, which is amazing because you get the full episode, but you can just listen to it, it is just really efficient, But for those people that actually wanna just, have a look at me, they wanna just look me into the eyes, they wanna just, interact with myself, then of course you can also watch the YouTube video, It is just up to you, what you like the most or what you like best, and choose this one, because I'm providing both. This is actually kind of the reason why I'm doing it, so that people can choose between one of those two things, because some people actually listen to things and some people watch things, or they prefer to listen or watch things. But as I've already mentioned, we're going ahead with this amazing article from James Clear, James Clear on habits and or how other people were able to build good habits or break and or destruct or punish whatever bad habits. And we are going ahead with environment design part 3, actually, because it actually seems to be the case that we went through part 1 and 2 already. If I remember correctly, it is always a little bit of a strange thing, because I'm just going through 2 things at a time, and then then sometimes it is actually the case that I do not know what to which degree I went through a particular thing and whatever. But I'm gonna just read. No, we're actually going ahead with environment design part 2. Environment design, to just explain it a little bit, is just about your environment, basically, because your environment definitely just plays a really, really big role in your habit game, because the thing is that our environment heavily influences our habits, not only the people around us, which definitely, and I'm not even debating that you don't know that, because you clearly know that the people that are around you definitely also influence, maybe even create, quote unquote, your habits, because I don't know, maybe you're having just some friends that are extremely happy and optimistic, then you're also going to be happy and optimistic more often, just because your friends that you're hanging around with quite often, I assume, are just this particular way. If they smoke, then probabilities are unfortunately also relatively high that you're also going to smoke, just because you're hanging around with people all the time that are smoking. So they really heavily influence your habits, and not only the people, because also your environment does really just maybe trigger certain events or trigger certain habits, as we've actually heard in, it wasn't definitely, I have been talking about it in the last episode, but it wasn't a part of the last episode, so quite, in terms of the text, but it was about a woman, and this woman was only smoking when she was riding on horseback. And when she stopped riding on horseback, she also stopped smoking, because this was actually kind of the only time when she was smoking, which is definitely not a good habit. And there you can see, okay, sometimes it is actually the case, and now this is something that we have definitely been talking about yesterday, sometimes it is actually the case that we are stacking habits on other habits, which you're also able to use for your benefits or your advantages, which means, okay, you might be having this habit, or you're probably having this habit of brushing your teeth every single day in the morning, which is a really good habit, but you could stack something onto it, which means, okay, every time or after every time you have brushed your teeth in the morning, you're going to meditate for 10 minutes. And just because of this habit that you're having in terms of just, brushing your teeth, you're also going to remind yourself on the habit that you actually have to meditate, which is really interesting, but it could also just be in a very kind of fucked up way. And I've been talking about it in yesterday's episode, so please check this out if you want to know that, really fucked up. Really, really, really fucked up. But, now you know what the environment design is all about. Therefore, we are going ahead with the environment design part 2. And I assume that there's going to be just some amazing examples as we have been actually going through the past 3 days, 4 days, something. I don't even remember. But it is a really, really great article, I have to say. It's a really great article. So, environment design part 2. Typically, we think of designing physical spaces, but you can use the same principles to shape your digital environment as well. Very important, because it's just like, it's just a really, really time-consuming and attention-consuming thing. The whole just, social media, the whole internet world, basically. Like, we all are on the internet, and we all spend quite some time on the internet and on social media, which is built on the internet. Therefore, it's like, it definitely makes sense to also structure this world and also to rule this world for you. So, for instance, a reader named Matthew wrote to me and said, I significantly cut down on mindless Instagram time simply by logging out of the app makes a big difference. And I assume why. The thing is, if you're logged out every single time and you haven't actually kind of saved your username and your password or whatever, you always have to type it in. And I assume, I really assume that you're going to be just like, no, I'm not going to do this because I'm just way too lazy for it, Because who the fuck actually wants to type in your fucking username or his fucking username and or password just every single time? Like, it is just really time consuming. And then we just understand it. Like, if we're just scrolling through Instagram just really mindlessly, we don't notice, But if it is about like just a 1 minute task, like, okay, typing in our username and typing in the password, then of course, we're going to be fucked up, which is really interesting, to be honest, but maybe you're using it as well, maybe you're also just on Instagram for quite some time mindlessly, I'm really not saying something against social media, especially not me, just because I'm using social media every day, but I believe that I'm using it in a way that just makes sense for me. It is not a bad way, and I just really hate it that people are kind of literally demonizing it, and they're literally just talking about it in a negative way and only negative way. Most often it's really like, okay, Instagram and social media, they are all so bad, they all make us bad human beings and whatever, but in the end it is really like they expose us. It is not like, okay, we are getting bad people or we are getting bad habits just because of social media. We have been this person, but through social media we just get exposed, heavily exposed, because we can do whatever we want there and whatever. And it is really not about us being just bad or us just getting bad through social media. The next example. Another reader named Viet, which is V-I-E-T, went even further. I used my own laziness to my own advantage with my bad habit of browsing Facebook. Deleting Facebook and having to go through the one extra step of going to the website and logging in manually was enough barrier for me to not get back on. Really interesting, but I really believe in that. I really honestly believe in that it actually could and will definitely just work for some of the people that are listening right now and or watching right now. It could definitely work, just because we're lazy motherfuckers. We all are. Like, I don't know. Just the funny thing is, privacy might not be such a heavily kind of fucked up thing, because first of all, like we have always had just some credit cards or some bonus free something card, when you're just, I don't know, in your supermarket, there you have a card, and every time you just buy something, you're gonna get just some points or whatever, and then if you have a certain amount of points, you also get, I don't know, a pet, like just not a real one, but like a toy one, you know what I mean, and all those things, or maybe we get some percentage on our next buy or something. Could also be the case. The thing is, you also have to give them your data. It is always the case. I don't know if they're actually doing it for the data because, well, I don't think that it is just the first thing that they're thinking about. I think the first thing that they are actually thinking about is that they get more things sold just because you're coming to them, because you have their friends card or their kind of regular customer card or whatever it is called. And I think this is the first instance and the first thing that they are thinking about. The second thing might actually be your data. I don't know if they're going to sell your data. I don't know if you actually have to kind of sign something. Maybe they do. It could actually be the case. Who really knows? But the thing is, if people get, I don't know, a minute faster internet, they're also going to just, fuck about the privacy. They're going to tick this little box and they're going to have faster internet. Just because, maybe for their data, just maybe they're purchasing it with their data, which is something that is really not unusual, to be honest. It is actually relatively often the case, or it can often be the case. The next thing. So, and Rahul did something similar to kill his video game habit. For gaming addiction, I removed my graphic card, or graphics card, I guess. He wrote, for excessive net surfing on mobile, I uninstalled apps and removed the Chrome browser. I'm just gonna think about it, literally just actually removing your fucking graphic card so that you get rid of your addiction. First of all, I really have to say that if you actually notice this addiction and if you notice that you're having such a heavily addiction and you're actually kind of removing your fucking graphic cards, I think, just because of that, everything should be great again. And just because you've seen that you have a problem, with gaming or with whatever problem you have, it's really amazing, and especially that you do something like that. I don't know, addiction is something that is really not to love about, and it is definitely just not an easy thing, to overcome, to just get rid of and whatsoever. But this is definitely a really, really, really heavy way. It's a really tough way to do that in this manner. Just really kind of, I'm actually kind of proud of. Are you proud at somebody? Proud for, you know what I mean. I'm really proud for Rahul. The next one is going to be Environment Design Part 3. I don't know why he's actually structuring it like this, but I'm just going to move ahead. So on the flip side, you can foster good habits by reducing the friction in your environment, something that we've also been talking about yesterday. But so go just, you don't have to go to the last day's episode and also to today is Thursday. You also don't have to watch Monday's episode or whatsoever, because they all are kind of independent. If you want to have the full experience, it would definitely make sense to go through everyone, but because everyone's just 30 minutes long or even longer, I can totally understand that not everybody has the time nor the energy to go through just those episodes and all of those episodes. But Natalie started picking up her cluttered clothes and building better cleaning habits simply by reducing the number of steps between her and the laundry basket. I quit leaving my socks all over the floor by putting a little basket besides the door to collect them in. Really great move. The funny thing is that friction not only plays a big role in habits, or it seems to be just a big role in habits, but it definitely also is a big thing in marketing. Something that I've been actually today thinking about is, why don't hairdressers, if they're called hairdressers, because I don't know if, so at least I don't know a hairdresser, I don't know a hairdresser that is actually having some sort of a form to fill out on the website so that you can actually get, just get your haircut on a certain time, I don't know what it is called, to get so that you can get your haircut on a certain time by only going to the website, filling out the form and sending it to them. Maybe also with, what your preferences would be, what price you would like to have and those things, or what just type of haircut you're choosing from their list or from their pricing list or whatever it is. Why isn't anybody doing this? Because it just really reduces the amount of friction that people are having. Because people do not want to call you and ask you, okay, do you have time at 3 p.m., 3 p.m., do you have just some room for me, please? Some space, some time space. The thing is, why is nobody doing this? It would really reduce the amount of friction that there is, because as I said, not everyone's gonna phone you, or not everyone's gonna willing to phone you, because we are people, people have just changed in a certain way. We don't wanna just call people, I do not wanna call people, and I can really understand that. And it would just really be good for me and be amazing for me if I can just go to my phone or in the internet or just maybe to their app even. I'm actually gonna install it, I guess, at least when I need it. Then just filling out a form with whatever I want and whatsoever, and then send it to them. I guess it would just also be way easier for them, because there's not going to be just any kind of misunderstandings, because people talking on the phone, it's not always just frictionless, not always the people gonna just speak in a way that you can also understand them and whatever. So there's so many variables why it actually would make sense. But up to this point, and I don't know, like in my city, they're not like just really kind of innovative, and I don't know, maybe it is something different in your city or in your state or country or whatever. So would be nice, please tell me, hit me up on social media, wherever you want to tell me this, please do it. It would be actually really interesting. I could also Google it, but yeah, just please tell me. Please tell me. The next person. Similar strategies can be particularly useful for building new exercise habits. One reader named Justin sent me the following message. I started going to a gym that was less than a mile from my house. This took away the time and inconvenience excuses. I was never consistent and exercise, but now I work out 8 to 10 times a week. What the fuck? CrossFit, running and cycling. I've been going strong for 2.5 years. Yeah, I believe in it. I definitely believe in that. And I definitely also believe in us just being lazy motherfuckers. All of us, Some people actually have a lot of willpower, and some people don't have the willpower. And I don't know, like, something that I think everybody can say is that all the people that are regularly, doing some exercising or regularly going into the gym or whatever they're doing. Maybe they're just, also doing some mixed martial arts, something like that. They're just doing sports. I guess something that you clearly can say about them is that they're just really not lazy, at least in this way, because I also know people, and it might also be the exact same thing for me. I might be working out 5 times a week, but I might also not be just learning 5 times a week for school, just because it's like, preferences, I assume, I guess. And definitely for me, it might not be just such a heavy thing or such kind of an heavy contrast. And for some people, it might be just a really fucking heavy, saturated, whatever contrast. It might be way stronger because they are just a certain kind of person, and they're just working out because they like it, but they're not going to learn because they hate it. They hate school and they just, do not want to learn. I can also understand that. I heavily can understand that. Another reader wrote, I've been running at 6 a.m. for the past 2 years. I always put my running gear, Garmin, compression sleeves, shoes, etc. into a neat pile that night before. When I get up, I just get dressed and go out the door. Something that, by the way, Jocko Willink is also doing. He's always having his workout clothes ready, just beside his bed or just, relatively near to when you're just waking up, so that he sees it every single day, and so that there's no kind of excuse like, well, I can't find my clothes now, I'm too bored, or I'm too lazy to actually find my clothes or search for my clothes. It is really like, reducing the amount of friction. So I've even heard from readers who go to sleep wearing I'm sorry. So I've even heard from readers who go to sleep wearing their running shoes and or clothes. Like, I don't know, shoes might not be the best thing, but clothes definitely. All they have to do is stumble out the door in the morning. For more on environment design, see chapter 6 and 12 of Atomic Habits, which is the book that James Clear wrote. And I think it is also the book that, maybe made him just famous, quote unquote, or successful, quote unquote. I don't know how successful he really is. But yeah, people know him. I know him. And I know that his articles are just really amazingly great. This is what I know. This is what I figured out for myself. Habit substitution. Whatever it is. So in many cases, it can be more effective to replace your bad habits than to merely try to eliminate them. The beautiful thing about habit substitution is that you can build a good habit and break a bad one at the same time. One reader told me, at home I would go out to my backyard to smoke, so I put a weight bench out there, and every time I wanted to smoke, I would go out and do some reps instead. After that, my craving was reduced. And I also think you're not gonna go out and smoke one just because well, if I go out there, I'm gonna have to do some reps, and I'm really not doing or willing to do some reps. Therefore, I'm just not gonna step out. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I could think about it. I could think of that. I could think of that. Just people actually thinking this way. Would make sense. I can really emphasize with this. So I thought the following idea was interesting. One reader replaced biting their nails with cutting their nails. I stopped biting my fingernails mostly by making sure clippers were always close at hand, especially at work. Many readers have substituted a new habit in a stair-step fashion. They gradually shift from the old habit to something healthier. Mark, for example, shared the following strategy. I significantly cut back on beer consumption. I used flavored sparkling water to replace the beer, and I asked my wife to stop having beer in the fridge for a while, which is something that I've been talking about. So once I replaced the habit, I was mostly stress drinking after work, and I was able to add beer back into my life. Wait. Is this now I got back to my bad habit or something? So to replace the beer, I asked my wife to stop having beer in the fridge. Good thing, really good thing. Once I replaced the habit, he was definitely stress drinking after work, I was able to add beer back into my life. Yeah, I think I can, I might be understanding it in such a way that, he likes beer, he clearly likes beer, but he's not just willing to get addicted to it or some shit like this, Obviously, I'm not also willing to do that or willing to have that. But the thing is having a beer once in a while I think is okay. Something that I wouldn't suggest. I clearly wouldn't suggest it. But the thing is, you won't die because of it. You won't die because of one beer that you're having just every 3 months or something. I think it is fine. It's fine. It is not good. It is definitely not good. But it is just fine. It's just fine. The thing is I don't know, I'm a pretty big fan of just cutting out everything and just not doing it. Like Jocko Willink is actually doing. Jocko Willink, I've been talking about him, but still, he's the really famous, quote-unquote, Navy SEAL or former Navy SEAL. Pretty significant guy, just really interesting guy. And also just his attitude and his discipline, willpower, all those things. And he also is if you're willing to have a great body, if you're just willing you have to eat clean, and it's not going to be an 80-20 thing or rule. You're not going to apply the 80-20 rule, which means, I'm going to eat healthy and clean for 80% of the time, but I'm not going to eat healthy for 20% of the time. And he said nah, you're not going to do that. It's either going to be 100% clean or just nothing. And sometimes, and he also pointed out, it's going to be it is 99% clean, just because you had one bad meal, one quote-unquote cheat meal in the year. And I think that's also okay, isn't it? You're not going to cripple yourself just because of one bad meal, of one cheat meal. But I still have to say try to just cut it out. Should I actually read... Well, the thing is, I also have to go through another question today, as always, just because, as you might know, as I've been just doing it the past week, I guess, I always, at the end of the episode, I always go through a Quora question to actually, finish up the whole thing and to also just have something new in my episode, because I just wanted to have something new. The problem that I'm seeing there is that I'm often just, there's so many questions, and I'm not even answering them just by typing it there, on the platform, which is a really bit of a pity, because just it would be great for the people. I really have to start doing that. I just really have to do that. But yeah, just because through that, I would also be able to just get more questions, because you get more questions by being just active on a platform and whatsoever. So yeah, I'm gonna see. But let's actually scroll. Yeah, well, let's take this one. Let's literally take this one, and I'm gonna read it. So I didn't sleep well last night, and I no, is it no or now? And now I have to spend all day answering technical questions as a witness in court. Well, fucked up thing, I guess. So what can I do to get focused and do a good job? Sleep. Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, most often it is actually the case, that people are asking a question and then you're answering it, but it is not like an easy, quick fix, short term kind of answer. Like it's going to be something like, okay, make sure that you're going to sleep the next time. Make sure that it's not going to be the exact same thing the next time. It is a simple question, it is a simple answer, but it is definitely maybe not always an easy answer. I want to stop drinking beer. What should I do? Stop drinking beer. It is not easy, but it is a simple answer. Like, in theory, like, often it is the case. It really often is the case. But this is definitely not what people are just willing to hear. People want to have the short term and quick fix kind of thing, but yeah, often it is the case that it is not the case. The thing is, what should you be doing? First of all, I guess drinking a lot of water to just get rehydrated and to also ensure that you're having a clean diet. I really believe that the body and the mind, they are deeply connected. And just one of the things to actually explain that, that I've actually been stumbling across, like, I don't know, it must be like just 3 months ago or something, is hangry. You might know just when you're hungry that you're actually getting pretty angry, pretty aggressive, and you're not in a good mood just because you're hungry. And it actually seems to be the case that it is something that is proven. It is proven that you get hangry, like hungry and hangry, so hungry and angry, hangry. And well, yeah, I think this just also kind of says, and also can just point out and emphasize the fact that our mind and body are somehow connected. It also makes sense to some degree. So I would definitely say that you're eating clean, so that you're also not having some, some bloating food or something, that you also just have to, just reduce the things that you have to worry about, besides the fact that you are tired. Maybe you're also gonna just consume some coffee, even though, I'm really not a fan of this, just because I know that it might fuck your sleep for tomorrow, or might fuck the next sleep as well, and then you're gonna drink some coffee again, and yeah, it's just gonna be just a cycle of death and fucked up shit. Something that I cannot and I'm willing not to answer and or to suggest, actually. The thing is, yeah, I would totally focus on eating clean, drinking enough, so that there's actually nothing else to kind of worry about than the fact that you're just tired. And then making sure that you're going to bed just, yeah, on an appropriate time, I guess, so that it gets just, yeah, so that they can catch on sleep and whatsoever, so they can just be very energetic the next day. Something else that I might be thinking about, yeah, I don't know. The thing is, your diet definitely matters. If you're not able to do that, of course, some multivitamins are not bad. They are also not good because they are supplements. You should be supplementing your diet. It is not about just only taking pills, obviously, and people know that. Sometimes I guess people ignore that. But yeah, I think this is quite it. I would definitely just give a fuck about diet, enough drinking, and I would just totally suggest water. And yeah, also ensure that you're having enough energy in terms of carbohydrates and or calories in general. So just try to not be hungry. Eat clean, get everything you need, from greens to just, I don't know, meat, whatever you think you need, whatever your body says you need. Well, no, just, yeah, Because if it is like, okay, you're gonna need chocolate, no, you do not need chocolate. You might need some fruit, you might need some sugar in general, but you definitely do not need a fucking chocolate. So eat clean, eat healthy, drink enough. I think this would actually do just a really good job for you, at least as I can think about it. But yeah, this is going to be the end of the episode, and it's been a really great episode, to be honest. It's been a really, really, really great episode, and I also hope that you enjoyed it as well. And if you've enjoyed it, please give me a like and also rate the podcast, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the podcast as well. It would really, really mean the world to me. Like, honestly, I'm putting so much work into what I'm doing here. It would just really mean the world to me. But yeah, I wish you the best health of happiness and also success. And I also hope that you're going to remind yourself how you're going to be remembered. Basically your legacy, because we can totally shape our legacy and we can totally kind of just manipulate it, quote unquote. Something that has to be said is that no matter how nice you are and no matter how generous you are, there's still going to be someone that does not like you, because it is what it is. Sometimes, I think this is just how human beings are. The thing is, some other questions that I hope that you're gonna ask yourself is, why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? Those 3 questions might enable you to just figure out your purpose in life and the purpose that you're having on this fucking planet, and this amazing planet actually. And maybe you're also gonna get a business idea from them. Who knows? Because often it started with being upset with something. But yeah, I wish you the best. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I honestly mean it. I really honestly mean it. I hope you're having a good day. Stay happy, stay tuned, and yeah, I hope I'm gonna see you in the next episode again. Or as well. Whatever. I'm gonna see you. Never mind.